Hello students, today we will see the topic that is midbrain, hindbrain and spinal cord. Let us see first midbrain. Midbrain, it is located between the diencephalon and the pons vorli. See here in figure the location of midbrain between the diencephalon and at the lower side, that is pons vorli. It contains the cerebral adequate or iter, which connects the third and fourth ventricle. Here, the corpora quadrigemina, which are four rounded elevations on the dorsal surface of the midbrain. It is having the two superior colliculi, which are involved in visual reflexes, and the two inferior colliculi. These are the relay centers for auditory reflexes. हे जे दोन पार्ट आहे, that is superior colliculi and inferior colliculi. So superior colliculi, which are concerned with visual reflexes, and the inferior colliculi, they are concerned with the auditory reflexes that operates when it is necessary to move the head or to hear the sound more distinctly. जेव्हा आपण हेड रोटेट करतो किंवा एखादा साऊंड और व्हॉइस आपल्याला ऐकायचं असेल तेव्हा त्या ठिकाणी जर मोस्ट डिस्टिंक्टली इट इज used, that is inferior colliculi. The midbrain also contains on its inferior surface two thick fibrous tracts, and they are known as cerebral peduncle, or they are also known as crura cerebri. It also contains the crura cerebri. These tracts, they are having the ascending and descending nerve fibers, and they connect the cerebrum with midbrain. आता हा midbrain जो आहे याच्यामध्ये ascending पण आणि descending पण असे tracts असतात, and these tracts they contains the nerve fibers. Near the center of the midbrain there is a mass of gray matter which is scattered within the white matter. It is called as the red nucleus, which is present inside, आतल्या बाजूला असतो midbrainच्या. So what is the role of this red nucleus? It plays an important role in controlling posture and muscle tone. If we see the function of this midbrain, that is, it is a controlling posture, or it controls the posture and the body muscle tone. Then the next part, that is hindbrain, ज्याला आपण छोटा मेंदू म्हणतो. मिडब्रेन म्हणजे मधला मेंदू. आता हा हाइंड ब्रेन जो आहे याला ब्रेन स्टेम पण म्हणतात. दिस इज द हाइंड ब्रेन और ब्रेन स्टेम. सो दिस ब्रेन स्टेम और हाइंड ब्रेन इट कन्सिस्ट ऑफ, सगळ्यात शेवटचा पार्ट आहे हा मिडब्रेनच्या खाली. इट कन्सिस्ट ऑफ pons vorli, then cerebellum मागच्या बाजूला आणि medulla oblongata. These three parts, they are known as brain stem, that is pons vorli, cerebellum and medulla oblongata. The posterior region of the brain, which is known as hindbrain, as we have seen that it consists of the three parts. The pons morla appears as a rounded bulge on the underside of the brainstem, and it contains a crossband of the nerve fiber connecting the cerebrum and cerebellar lobes, medulla oblongata, and spinal cord. It also contains several nuclei. The cerebellum, it is the second largest part. आपण आधी पाहिलंय की सेरिब्रम जो पार्ट आहे हा जवळपास 85% आहे. And the cerebellum, it is also the largest part, second largest, which also contains the two lateral hemispheres and the central vermis. This part. याचे पण दोन पार्ट असतात ज्याला सेरिबेलार हेमिस्फियर्स म्हणतात आणि मध्ये त्याचा वर्मिस असतं. It is composed of white matter with a thin layer of gray matter. The white matter, it mixes with gray matter and it shows a tree-like pattern. हा जो सेरिबेलार स्ट्रक्चर आहे सेरिबेलमचा, या दोन सेरिबेलार हेमिस्फियर्सने तो ट्री लाइक अपीयरन्स करतो. त्याला म्हणतात आर्बोर व्हायटी. द सरफेस ऑफ द सेरिबेलम, इट शोज कन्व्होल्युशन्स, जसं आपण सेरिब्रम मध्ये पाहिलं. And number of nuclei, they also lie in the deep inside of cerebellar hemisphere. Over 30 millions of neurons, they lies in the cortex. 3 pairs of myelinated nerve bundles, they are cerebral peduncle, which connects the cerebellum to other parts of the central nervous system. So what is the role of this cerebellum? That is, it maintains the equilibrium of the body, posture of the body, balancing the orientation, and some voluntary movements. It is a regulatory center for neuromuscular activities. And it controls the voluntary activities, that is walking, running, speaking, etc. Then the medulla oblongata. It is the posterior conical part of the brain and it continues as a spinal cord. आपण फिगर मध्ये इथे पाहतोय खाली medulla oblongata. याचं खाली कंटिन्युएशन कुठे होत असतं? स्पायनल कॉर्ड मध्ये. It has inner gray matter and outer white matter. And what is its role? It controls all the involuntary activities, that is heartbeat, respiration, peristalsis, coughing, sneezing, swallowing, vomiting, etc. The cavity of the medulla is called fourth ventricle or metacele, and the roof of the choroid flexus, which secretes the cerebrospinal fluid. Here we have seen the functions, that is pons morli coordinates the activities of two cerebral hemispheres. Then the functions of cerebellum, that is maintaining equilibrium, posture, balance, and the voluntary activities like walking, running, speaking, etc. Then functions of the medulla oblongata, which is involuntary activities controlling heartbeat, respiration, peristalsis, coughing, sneezing, or swallowing, vomiting, etc. Then come to the next, that is spinal cord. It is the posterior extension and it is a part of CNS or central nervous system. Lower extension of medulla oblongata. It is covered by a bony and protective covering and membranes, just like the brain. It lies within the neural canal of the vertebral column and it is also surrounded by meninges. The cerebrospinal fluid, it is secreted by pia mater. It forms a fluid or cushion around this spinal cord, and within it, inside the central canal also. Externally, the spinal cord, it is a long cylindrical rod, 42 to 45 centimeter long and 2.5 centimeter broad. Its broadest end, anterior end, it tapers, म्हणजे खाली तो निमुळता होत जातो, into conus medullaris, and it continues a thread-like phylum terminal. आणि सगळ्यात शेवटी तो फिलम टर्मिनल सारखा खाली पोस्टेरियर साइडला होत असतो. आपण घोड्याची शेपटी बघितली बघा, त्या पद्धतीने तो खाली निमुळता होत जातो. Spinal cord, it shows two swellings along the length called cervical and lumbar swelling. दोन ठिकाणी. 31 pairs of spinal nerves, they are arising from the spinal cord. These nerves, they are concentrated in the region of cervical and lumbar region around the conus medullaris. The bunch of the nerves in the hind part of the spinal cord along with the phylum terminal, म्हणजे मागच्या बाजूला खाली. And it appears like a horse tail. जसं मी तुम्हाला सांगितलं की घोड्याची शेपटी जशी असते तसंच त्याचं स्ट्रक्चर असतं. आणि म्हणून त्याला काय म्हणतात, कॉडा इक्विना. इक्विना हे हॉर्सचं नेम आहे सायंटिफिक, आणि कॉडा म्हणजे लास्ट पार्ट, शेपटीचा रिजन. Now let us see the transverse section of spinal cord. It is dorsoventrally flattened due to the deep narrow posterior fissure and a broad anterior fissure. Central canal is present in the center. The fissure divides the spinal cord incompletely into right and left part. The gray matter is somewhat H-shaped. बघा इथे दिसतंय हे फिगर मध्ये, H-shaped structure or butterfly shape, which is inner side. Inner side ला gray matter आहे. While the outer side, which is having the white matter. The fissure divides the gray matter into 6 horns, that is dorsal, lateral and ventral horns. आपण फिगर मध्ये बघू शकतो. Dorsal horn, ventral horn आणि lateral horn. While the white matter is divisible into 6 columns of funiculi, that is dorsal, lateral and ventral funiculi. आता जसं हे हॉर्न्स आहेत तसं त्याचंच एक्सटेन्शन फ्युनिक्युली मध्ये आहे. The dorsal and ventral horns extend out the spinal cord into dorsal and ventral root. आता बघा, हे जे डॉर्सल हॉर्न आहे त्याचं पुढे कनेक्शन डॉर्सल रूट मध्ये आहे. व्हेंट्रल हॉर्न आहे त्याचं पुढचं कनेक्शन व्हेंट्रल रूट मध्ये आहे. The dorsal root is connected to the dorsal root ganglion. It has an aggregation or collection of unipolar sensory neuron. The association or interneuron, it lies inside the gray matter, which receives the signal from the sensory nerve, integrates it when it receives the sensory nerve impulse and direct the response towards the motor neuron lying towards the ventral horn. Dorsal root कडनं sensory nerveचा impulse येत असतो आणि खाली तो ventral root ला motor neuron कडे continue होतो. The lateral horn have neurons of autonomic nervous system. हे जे lateral horns आहेत, they are having the neurons of autonomous nervous system. The nerves arising from these neurons, they emerges out from the ventral root of spinal nerves. ते पण कुठून emerge होतात? From the ventral root. The white matter consists mainly of bundle of myelinated sheath or myelinated nerve fiber called ascending and descending tracts. The ascending tract conduct the sensory impulse from spinal cord to the brain, and these lies in the dorsal column or dorsal funiculi. बघा हे dorsal root जे आहे, या dorsal side ला हे messages जे आहे dorsal root कडनं, हे myelinated nerve fiber जे ascending आणि descending track आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये ascending track मध्ये कुठून sensory impulse conduct करतात, कुठून from spinal cord to brain, and they are lying in the dorsal column, and the descending track conducts the motor impulse from the brain to the lateral and ventral funiculi. म्हणजे मेंदूकडून आदेश येत असतात हे परत towards the spinal cord. असे हे ascending आणि descending track चं function आहे. Ascending tract having the sensory impulse and descending tracts having the motor impulse. So let us see the functions of spinal cord. It is the main center for the reflex actions. It provides pathway for conduction of sensory and motor impulses to and from the brain. जसं आपण पाहिलं dorsal root ला sensory आणि ventral root ला motor impulses transmitted. And the third one, it provides nervous connection to many parts of the body. So this is about the midbrain, hindbrain and spinal cord. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.